To ask you about your investigation, but first let me get to this breaking news. I have in my hand a letter from the Department of Justice that was sent to the Southern District of New York on Saturday. By the way, Devin Archer is testifying on Monday. Do you usually see the DOJ send letters like this out on a Saturday?
Never. This is the first time I've ever heard of the Department of Justice doing anything on a Saturday.
So what is this letter? Can you walk us through it? The government is apprising the court of the status of Devin Archer's appeal of his judgment of conviction, and they request that the court set a surrender date for the defendant to report to a facility. Please walk us through what this letter says.
Yeah, the letter from the Department of Justice is trying to nudge the judge to go ahead and sentence Devin Archer for something unrelated to what we're going to be talking to him about tomorrow. It's odd that it was issued on a Saturday, and it's odd that it's right before he's scheduled to come in to have an opportunity to speak in front of the House Oversight Committee and tell the American people the truth about what really went on with Burisma. So, I don't know if this is a coincidence, Maria, or if this is another example of the weaponization of the Department of Justice, but I can tell you this, the lengths to which the Biden legal team has gone to try to intimidate our witnesses, to coordinate with the Department of Justice, and to certainly coordinate with the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee to encourage people not to cooperate with our investigation, to encourage banks not to turn over bank records, to encourage Treasury not to let us have access to those suspicious activity reports. It's very troubling, and I believe that this is another violation of the law. This is obstruction of justice, but nevertheless, we're going to continue to move forward and try to present the American people with the facts and the truth about this president and his family.
Tell me how many suspicious activity reports you have seen. How much money do you expect that the Biden family has taken in? Update us on your investigation into this influence peddling.
There's 170 suspicious activity reports, but then there's another several dozen suspicious activity reports that were filed on other people, but Biden family members were the subject of those, meaning they were involved in some type of transaction, involved with a major wire that had been flagged by a bank. That's what happens when you are engaged in money laundering, Maria. So we're trying to have access to Treasury. We want to go back. We've learned new information since we went in there the first time. We requested a limited number of suspicious activity reports. Those were all involving the Biden family. Now we've learned of some other deals and other transactions with other entities and other people that we believe the Bidens may be subject to those suspicious activity reports as well. So we're trying to get back in Treasury now as our investigation continues to grow. But I will tell you, it's unprecedented. As someone who's been involved in banking, there's never been an instance that I've ever heard of, or in talking to bankers around America, where a family has been involved in so many suspicious activity reports. This is where the bank files notice with the Treasury Department that they fear their client is engaged in some type of criminal activity. This is very serious, and the extent to which this family was involved in suspicious activities is breathtaking.
Well, how often does one get a suspicious activity report? How many suspicious activity reports would your average person get?
I would say the average person gets zero. These just don't happen very often. Now, the Democrats would try to spin a narrative that, it's not uncommon. Everybody gets a suspicious activity report. It's like an overdraft fee or something. That is simply not true. I spoke to the Kentucky Bankers Association in Washington 2 weeks ago, and I was telling them about all these suspicious activity reports, and they couldn't believe it. I mean, a lot of banks in Kentucky anyway may not issue more than 1 or 2 suspicious activity reports a year. And you think about how many clients and how many transactions are involved with these banks. So it's very uncommon for an American to get a suspicious activity report. Most people who get suspicious activity reports are people who are foreigners who are doing business in America, people who are sending money to foreign countries that may or may not be legal citizens of the United States, and people involved in criminal activity, money laundering and things like that. I believe that Joe Biden knows about all those things. Now, what level of involvement he had as a participant, we're investigating to find out. But there's no doubt in my mind that he knew about those things. And remember, he has consistently told the American people he had no knowledge of anything his family was doing with respect to foreign business transactions. And we're about to find out throughout the whole month of August whether or not that statement was true.